Okay, so let's get started on how to do the corner to corner. First of all, you will need a copy of the graph, and you can download, print out, save on your screen a copy of this from our Facebook group, and the link for that is in the description just below, beyond the cowl. And you will need Unit 5, number 2, paw print. Unit 5, number 2, paw print. Okay, so as I've said, each of these squares corresponds to a corner-to-corner block. So we work stitches to make a block, and each square corresponds to one block. And I am going to take you through step by step on how to make those blocks in just a moment. Okay, so each of these corresponds to a block. The other thing is that we work diagonally on this. I have just written my numbers in. Hopefully by now the graph in the group is has the correct numbers on now. So we work diagonally on this. If you're right-handed, you will most likely work from this bottom right-hand corner back and forth, all the way up to this top left-hand corner. If you're left-handed, you might find it easier to work from this bottom left corner and work back and forth up to the top right corner. Okay, find what works for you. Mostly it doesn't matter which way you work. A lot of patterns are symmetrical, or it will work anyway, whichever way you do it. You just need to be consistent. And generally you will get a mirrored image on the back of your work as well. It just might not be quite as neat if you've had to carry some colours, or some of your colour changes haven't been as neat. Okay, so you might see that I've got some notes here, and you might see that I've circled some of these numbers. So the first thing I like to do when I'm doing a graph of c2c, if I was doing c2c just in diagonal stripes or just in one colour, or in a variegated yarn, I would just, just do it. But when I'm doing a graph, I like to see where I will need to change colour and whether I need just one ball of each colour. So I've got here a white for the background, and I've got this kind of beigey gold colour for the paw print. And do I just need one of each, or do I need more? And you can, by all means, you can carry your colours through, and I will show you how to do that. But sometimes it's easier to have separate ends of yarn. So what I like to do is take a ruler, and you don't have to do this for this one. I've done all the workings out for you for this particular graph, but to show you how I work this out, let me zoom in and come back to you. Okay, so what I like to do is I bring my ruler and I go diagonally from corner to corner on each block, like so. And I can see that this block is just white. Obviously you can see that yourself. And then I go up until I can start to see a colour change. Now I like to make sure that I've got my ruler across from the same number each side, because if you do it like so, then I've got from number 9 to number 14, and that's wrong. Okay, so you need to go through the centre of the number. So where are we? Number 9 and number 9. There we go. So row 9, so your row is a diagonal row. Okay, so this is row 9, and I can see that I've got white squares there, and then I've got coloured squares, and then I've got a white square. So I've got two sections of white. Okay, so I've circled my number 9 so that I know that's when I need to introduce a new bobbin. I'm going to call it a bobbin, a new bobbin or an end of white. So I have marked down here, I've written 9 is 2 white and 1 beige. Okay, 2 white and 1 beige. Okay, and then what I did, so I was on number 9, and then all I did was let me move across, sorry, out the camera. So all I did was I slid my ruler up, going across the squares and the rows, making sure I'm matching 12 and 12. Keep going, and I go until I see another colour change. So I've still got just a section of white here, a section of beige, and a section of white. I'm going to keep going. Okay, row 15, here we go. So make sure I'm at row 15 here and at row 15 here. And now I've got a white square here, some beige squares, and then I've got a second section of white, a second section of beige, and a third section of white. So I've written here for row 15 that I need 3 white and 2 beige. Now if it was only 1 or 2 squares I could probably carry my yarn, but I know it's going to continue, so I just line this up again, row 15, and I'm going to keep going until I can see another time that it changes from white, beige, white, beige, white. So I'm going to keep going, and at row 23, nearly at the top, we stop doing beige. See, this square here is just white. Okay, the last beige was on this one, row 22. So I've got one big section of white, a big section of beige, and a section of white. So it's just 2 white and 1 beige. So I've written here for 23, 2 white and 1 beige. And then I keep going and making changes on whatever row it occurs. And I've written here how I need to change. Okay, so the most that I need is 3 white and 2 beige. Anytime 3 white and at any time 2 beige. So what I'm going to do for this, okay, so I have some pegs here, and what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to use the balls as 1 bobbin, and then I need 2 more of white. So all I'm going to do is take the end of my white and just take that out. Lost the end. There we go. So all I'm going to do is wind some white around my peg. Okay, just hold that on there and then just wind. You could use a piece of card, you could use, there are special pieces of card you can buy that are for using as bobbins, but pegs are really handy because if you have to stop partway through your work, you can just peg them onto your work and they will be safe until you come back. So it's got a bit of a knotty knot. Okay, so I'm just going to wind a load around here, and I like to wind way more than I know I'll need, and through time you will get used to how much you need, and you can always start with some more. If you don't have enough wound, then you can always make some more partway through. Absolutely fine. So I'm going to, as I need 3 lots of white, I'm going to make 2 bobbins of white, and then the third one will be my ball. Okay, so I'm going to make these 2, and then as I need 2 beige, I'm going to make 1 of my beige and then use the ball as the second. Okay, and I'll get back to you when I have those ready. Okay, so I have my bobbins all ready, and the only other thing to say on this particular graph, because this is a big section and this is where we're going to start on it, that I'm going to use my main ball as this colour just so that I've got plenty, and I'll use my bobbin for these little ones. Okay, and then I can just wind on some more if I need to. So I'm just going to pop these aside, for now, these bobbins, and we are going to start with the basic how to do the C2C, the corner to corner. So when you are following your graph, you have a choice. You can have your ruler and you can just have it set so it goes across each row, and you can just move it up as you wish. You could use a sticky post-it note, which I don't have to hand, and you could just block out what's to come, or you could just, you know, follow it without the ruler. I do have a see-through ruler as well, actually. One sec. Okay, so this ruler actually is a lot better in that it keeps a track of where you are, but you can also see what's coming after. So I can see that I'm on this row here, but you can see what's coming after as well, rather than this one, which you can't see what's coming. Entirely up to you, or you can just, as I said, just eyeball it and have a pencil handy to mark off the squares that you've done. And I say pencil so that if you want to copy it again without reprinting, you can just rub out all the pencil marks. Or if you're doing it from a screen, then you might want to use like a sticky note to cover up where you've been, and you're just using that sticky note on your screen, which you can easily just peel off when you're finished. Okay, so that is just about all I'm going to say in respect of talking. And make sure you've got some snips or scissors and your hook. And for this, you can use whatever hook and yarn you choose. I'm using a 4.5mm with just regular DK light worsted weight yarn. And if you make all of your graphs that we're doing this month, apart from the first one, all of them are 25 by 25. So if you stick with the same size hook and the same weight of yarn, they should all come out at about the same size. Okay.